A long time ago, I once had an inspirational dream to become the next Richie Valenz who sang La Bamba, and this is my story. After graduating the 6th grade, I began to hang around with my 25-year-old cousin. He was the leader of a rock and roll band called the Crescendos. I was 12 years old at the time. I will never forget that magical summer of 1959. I went to all of my cousin's teen dance parties. My cousin's musicians had great-looking girlfriends. The musicians, including my cousin, thanked me for keeping them company while they played on stage. I didn't mind that they used me as a private babysitter, as I kept the wolves away from their girlfriends. While I kept the girls company, they all taught me how to swing dance. In return, I fell victim of a boyhood crush with the beautiful high school girls. I thought that the girls looked much better than the ones my age. I had to find a way to look older. I came up with a remedy and said to myself, if I learn how to play the guitar, this might give me the advantage to look more mature. Now I needed to find a guitar teacher and fast. I had a cousin named Lawrence that was 10 years old. He could play like B.B. King. He played with the rhythm and blues band called the Melatones. He lived right next door to me. One day I asked him if he could teach me how to play the guitar, and he said yes. Lawrence's dad was Rosie's uncle that sang Angel Baby. After her mega hit, Rosie inspired me. Now I wanted to become a famous rock and roll teen idol, just like my legendary hero Richie Valenz. In the summer of 1963, I became a studio musician before entering high school. I was one of the elite studio musicians that could read music at the age of 15. I worked with a songwriter named June Jackson. He once wrote a hit song for Bertha Tillman called Oh My Angel. I was June Jackson's main guitar player. I recorded with him at Crescent Records in El Cajon Boulevard in San Diego and also in Los Angeles, California. I worked with many artists like Shadow Jackson, the disc jockey from KCBQ. He could play a mean saxophone. My first day as a studio musician, I was asked to play guitar for Joey Hill and the Invaders, who he once recorded a million seller that was called Caterpillar Crawl by the Strangers, a San Diego group. In 1965, I was a junior in high school. I was involved in a musical project which enraged Irving Berlin, the great songwriter for motion pictures and Broadway musical shows. Mr. Berlin wrote more than 900 songs, and one of his best creations was called Show Business. Decades later, June Jackson wrote a song with the same title. When the song hit the airwaves, Mr. Berlin called Capitol Records and threatened the writer June Jackson, the singer Lou Rawls, and the president of Capitol Records with a $1 million lawsuit each if the record Show Business wasn't taken out of the radio stations and the record stores. I was sitting in June's couch when he told me that disheartening story. I replied a little angry, "You mean he's not dead yet?" There went my chances to become a highly paid and respectable studio musician, or perhaps an actor in Hollywood, saving beautiful women in distress. All the records were destroyed except for a few, and I have one in my possession. I never became the next Richie Valenz due to the Vietnam War. While in the service, I helped condition a fellow shipmate, and later he became the smallest Navy SEAL in the history of the Vietnam War, 4 feet 11 inches tall. But that's another story.